Welcome back. No matter how successful you are in your field, some people still shy away from public speaking, while others embrace it. And even if you have what it takes to share your expertise from a stage or in front of a crowd, there are still other challenges to conquering the field of professional speaking. So how do you know if you have what it takes? Our next guest has 3 simple questions to help you decide. Bill Cates has been a professional speaker for more than 25 years and was inducted into the Professional Speakers Hall of Fame in 2010. He's built a $1 million speaking business on top of all of his other ventures. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
You never quit your day job. Speaking has always been what you've done in addition to all the different business hats you've been wearing.
Well, actually what happened for me is I sold a business. I had a book publishing company. I sold it, and then my next venture was the business of professional speaking and all that goes with that.
And you say that it really boils down to 3 important questions people have to ask themselves if they're thinking about trying to make the foray into public speaking. First and foremost, do you have a compelling expertise, story, or body of work to speak from?
Well, a lot of people like the idea of speaking in front of an audience, want to inspire people, but they don't necessarily have a compelling reason to be there. They think they do, but quite often there's a lot of work. So it could be an expertise in business that you've had, an experience as a leader perhaps, and you then share that with other people. It could be in sales. It could be maybe you've had something happen to you. A lot of speakers had a story, a compelling story. Then of course you see political speakers and military type speakers. It's got to be compelling, worth listening to.
I think one of the mistakes people make is, let's face it, there are plenty of speakers in Washington, and it is finding that unique niche. And so, for example, one of the professionals I know who's most successful in the speaking world, her area of expertise is the continent of Africa and the business economy there.
Yes.
As a result, she's somewhat unique here in Washington as a speaker. And people who want to speak on leadership, there's some competition out there.
Exactly. Usually the narrower the focus these days, the better. The focus could be on an expertise like leadership, sales, marketing, customer service, or it could be on an industry of sorts, a leader in a certain industry, and sometimes people do both. So the more narrow the niche, the more people can hang their hat on what do you do and how are you going to help me, the more successful you can be.
You say the second question you've got to ask is, are you willing to treat this like a business? Because it is work. What do you advise? There's different ways about going about being a speaker. The most common in Washington is signing with a speaker agency. What do you suggest people do if they think that they want to do this?
Well, most people don't have the kind of reputation and expertise to just immediately sign up with a speakers bureau and have success. Most people have to build that over time. For myself and a lot of people, it's the National Speakers Association. It is the premier place to learn the business of speaking. It's an easy business to get into, but not an easy business to be successful at over time. Anyone can become a coach, a consultant, a speaker, but then to sustain that over time. And so there's almost no place to learn that other than the National Speakers Association, where you're hanging around other people who are successful speakers.
Or you've got 2 different books out that go through some of the different things, from how you have to use social media, how you have to network, how you have to build your own personal brand to keep the business growing.
Well, that's right. And the National Speakers Association has put out 2 books all about the business of speaking, paid to speak. How do you get paid to speak, and how do you get paid to speak consistently over time, other than being a celebrity like a politician or a sports celebrity or something.
Or let's face it, someone who survived season 3 of The Survivor.
Right, well, there you go. And those people kind of come in the scene for a while, and they're hot for a while, and then they kind of go away, unless they've really been able to build something over time, in which case then they have sticking power.
I think TED Talks are a great way for people to look at. Some of the most obscure people that you've never heard of have some of the most inspiring TED Talks, because again, it goes back to what you say. It's a compelling message, a compelling story.
Exactly.
Not so much a celebrity name.
Exactly.
So third area, and this was one that really caught my eye. You say, are you willing to become a better speaker? So it's not enough to already be comfortable in front of the microphone.
Exactly. It's constantly working on the craft and getting better. Some people have a certain level of natural ability, and that carries them so far. That's what happened to me. But eventually I had to start working with coaches. I was pretty funny in front of a group, but I had to learn to be funnier and find more ways to do that, how to create interaction with the audience, all of that aspect of being a better speaker. I mean, I wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame, or couldn't have been inducted into the Hall of Fame my first 3, 5, 7, 10 years. I've been doing this 25 years, and it took me 20 years to get to that point.
I hope he's not watching, but I'll throw out an example of a presidential candidate that I covered, Bill Bradley. Amazing resume, amazing intellect. As my friend, political writer Matt Bai said, there's nothing that kills the zeal in a room than Bill Bradley speaking at his own political rally. It was such a somber, serious message that you're right, he lacks some of the humor, some of the other things that it takes.
The key is connecting with the audience. You can connect with information, you can connect by shaking hands, you connect with humor, you connect with a story, but you have to connect somehow.
And that's the key. Well, there's many keys that you all have. How do people contact the Speakers Association?
Well, it's nsaspeaker.org, nsaspeaker.org. We have our conference coming here in Washington on July 18th called Influence 2015.
Very good. Okay, thanks so much for joining us on Washington Business Report. We'll be right back.